Since when should school buses be at a Chinese restaurant? They shouldn't. These vehicles are here because their drivers decided to drive them to lunch.
Y'all finna turn me in or something?
Using buses for personal errands is a regular habit among drivers for Dallas County Schools, DCS, according to former employees. DCS's mission is to transport children to class in 9 school districts within Dallas County. But we watched this driver walk over to a fast food restaurant after she parked her bus outside a bank. Here's another without a driver or students, parked in the middle of a shopping center. The drivers back at the Chinese restaurant scrambled to avoid our camera.
Don't do that. You're messing up people's life. God is not pleased with that.
DCS says personal use of buses is against the rules. These drivers knew that. After we caught them, they turned themselves in and were fired. But critics say some workers lose their jobs for breaking the rules, while others, management favorites, are allowed to continue.
This was one of the most frustrating things of my employment with the Dallas County was seeing the favoritism.
One example of special treatment, Jimmy Williams, the highest paid person in the DCS system. But he's not even an employee. Earlier this year, the DCS board decided to make Williams, then superintendent, into the superintendent emeritus at $215,000 for a year, with a chance of making $126,000 for a year after that. What he really does isn't clear. You talk to me for a minute?
No, sir.
Tell me.
Please don't do that. Please.
Why? Why?
I'll talk to you.
Well, I want to talk to you, Mr. Williams. We've called several times, and we've asked very politely for an interview. And you make a lot of money. Can you tell me what you do? Rick Sorrells took Williams' place as superintendent. He says Williams' job is to help him make the transition.
He also has a number of other special projects ranging anywhere from looking at our policies and procedures that we have to looking to do additional consortiums, for example, for fuel.
Mr. Sorrell says you're negotiating contracts for fuel. Can you tell me anything about that? There's been criticism that, in fact, there's a revolving door among the board and some of the offices here. Is that the case? Rick Sorrells used to be a member of the board. Then they gave him the job of superintendent at a salary of $140,000 a year.
And who else did the board interview?
As far as I'm aware, I'm the only candidate.
It's a revolving door where they can reward each other. They've got a good thing going here.
Former Dallas City Councilman Larry Duncan was elected to the board this spring. He says his efforts for reform regularly get outvoted.
They have a vested interest in keeping this going the way it is.
And it's a system that some drivers say cheats them as a matter of policy. DCS considers all drivers to be part-time employees, but many regularly work 40 hours a week or more.
You say you work 8 hours a day.
Exactly.
5 days a week.
Exactly.
But Zena Dinkin says she rarely got paid for that. She says her supervisors often doctored her timesheets to save money and benefits. Despite good employee reviews, she was fired in August.
So they're just paying you whatever they want.
They'll write out how many hours they assume you having, and that's what you're going to get paid.
Former supervisor Lafayette Jackson says another way drivers' hours were cut is by their routes. He says he was ordered to arbitrarily reduce the drive time for every one of his driver's routes by 30 minutes.
But how could a bus driver suddenly drive a route in 30 minutes less than they were budgeted for?
They can't.
So they're just donating their time then?
That is correct.
After News 8 started asking questions, there have been changes at DCS. Monday, Superintendent Emeritus Jimmy Williams resigned. DCS says it was for health reasons.